Okay guys, so this is the grade 11 revision video for those who were not able to attend the grade 11 class, right? And for also those who want to just do a revision on what we discussed. So I want us just to look at do you see question 2? Let's look at 2.2 specifically. I'll just zoom it in so that it can be visible enough. Right. So let's look at 2.2 here. Okay guys, so for 2.2, oh, and one more thing, remember after watching the video, just to respond to the link that I send you. I'll send you on WhatsApp ne, just to notify me or you have watched it, and then I'll know or how many of you actually managed to watch the video, just so that I can know or are these videos actually being helpful for you guys ne. So yeah, let's look at simultaneous equation where they say we need to solve for x and y simultaneously if 2x is equal to, okay, let me write the equations. 2x minus y is equal to 3, meaning that this is gonna be our first equation, equation 1. And what else? We also have x squared plus 5xy plus y squared. Okay, wait, let me write it well. Plus 5xy plus y squared. Then this one is equal to 15, right? Then okay, this is our equation 2. Just write it down here under. Yeah. So we have two equations, basically equation 1 and equation 2 ne? So in terms of the equations, the simultaneous equations that they've given us, the first one is a linear equation, then the second one is quadratic equation. I remember I explained already the quadratic equation, you can just identify them because of the x squared, y squared, because of those squares that we have there. So this is basically, and another thing, uh, we have like a type of a trinomial, like more equation 2, if you look on the left hand side. So that shows or it's quadratic, especially because of the squares. It's very easy to identify it ne? Then equation 1, it's linear. You just have x and y, no squares, no anything like that. So the first equation is the one that we're going to be using basically to actually make a subject from the two variables that we have, and get 2x minus y equals to 3. So we must take one variable, remember, redirect the subject of the formula, right? Okay, so basically we just use equation 2 because, I mean equation 1, sorry, because equation 1 is linear, which means it's the easiest one to use. If you try to use equation 2, now you're gonna have to do a lot of administration for you to actually have one variable on one side ne. So re tlo shumisha equation 1, then re tlo dira one variable to become the subject of the formula. We can use the y ne, because y, it doesn't have a number attached to it like 2 here ne, but it does have a negative sign, so the negative sign we still have to remove it. So I'm gonna leave negative y on one side of the equal sign alone. Then I say equal to uh, 2x. When it comes to this side, it becomes a negative 2x, right? The sign must change because it's going to the other side. Then plus 3. On this side we have positive 3. Then we're not done yet. When we make the variable the subject of the formula, if we use y or x, if it's y like this, it must just be y. It must not have a negative sign in front ne? So essentially over y, not negative y. So basically we can just multiply everything by negative 1. So I'm going to times by negative 1. When I times by negative 1, remember 1 is not necessary that we should write it. I can just write negative only, but it's negative 1 ne? But remember the 1 is not necessary that I must write it. So I just put a negative in front, then I put negative 1 in brackets, then I say equal to, then it means on the right hand side I'll have to do the same thing. What you do on the left hand side of the equation, remember you're going to have to do it on the right hand side as well ne? So here you say negative times negative, it gives us positive, so it's gonna be positive y, and get, so it's positive because the signs are the same, the signs that we are multiplying. Then we go to the other side, we do the same. Negative times negative 2x, right? Negative times negative is positive again, so get positive 2x, and then negative times 3, positive 3. Negative times positive, okay, negative, the signs are different, so it's gonna be negative 3. Then this is our equation 3. So equation 3, you just have to make or a variable a1 even the subject of the formula. When you make one variable the subject of the formula, to put it in simple terms, in order you're just gonna take one variable and put it on one side of the equal sign alone by itself, like y, like we did with y. Y is on the left hand side alone. You see, there's nothing else with y there. The y is isolated. So that's what it means to make a variable the subject of the formula. So we just use equation 1 because it's the easiest one to use for us to actually do something like this, ne? Okay, so since we made a variable the subject of the formula using equation 1, right, and it gave us equation 3, okay, this is what you're going to do. We are going to take the equation 3 that we created from equation 1 and then we substitute it into equation 2. And another thing, guys, I remember telling you this, please, please, please don't take equation 3 and try to substitute it into equation 1. Ne? The reason is because equation 3 already comes from equation 1. So you can't take the equation 3 and put it back into the same equation that it came from. You understand? You're gonna see, if you do it, you're gonna see why it won't work, because all the variables will be eliminated. You understand? So what you do, you take equation 3 and substitute it into equation 2, the one that we never used. You understand? So don't substitute it into the same equation that it came from. So our equation 2, if we substitute equation 3 into equation 2, remember our equation 2, I'll rewrite it in there. X squared plus 5xy. Okay, let me just go back just to ensure that I'm writing the correct thing. Y squared equals to 15. I think I remember it. Okay, I'll just go back just to verify whether the equation is correct. Excuse me. So x squared plus 5xy plus y squared equals to 15. Okay, so it means that I wrote it well. Great. Okay, so basically we're just gonna do it like this, ne? Equation 3, it shows where y is equal to 2x minus 3. So in other words, it means where instead of writing y, you can actually write 2x minus 3 because they are equal. Meaning that whether you write y or whether you write 2x minus 3 is the same thing. You understand? So y and 2x minus 3 are equal. So in the place of y, if you write 2x minus 3, it's the same as writing y, is the same thing as they are equal, ne? So basically it means or in the place of y I can just write 2x minus 3 because they are equal. So it means or if I have x squared like this, ne, plus 5x, then in the place of y here I put 2x. Is 2x minus 3, right? Yeah, I put 2x minus 3. Why? Because y is equal to 2x minus 3. So whether in the place of y, if I put 2x minus 3, is the same as me putting y, as they are equal. You understand? So I say plus, then we have another y here for y squared. So it means it's going to be 2x minus 3 squared, right? Then we have equal to 15. I'll just continue with it. Under here, equal to 215. Okay, now let's simplify. We're just gonna say x squared, right? And then we say plus, so we take 5x, we are gonna distribute it into the brackets. We times it by everything in the brackets. So 5x times 2x. Well, first of all, 5 times 2 is gonna be 5, 10 is 10, right? So it's 5x times 2x. 5 times 2, it's 10. Then we have x and x here. X times x, it will just give us x squared. And then we take the 5x again, we also times it by the negative 3. So 5 is positive. So first of all, positive times negative, it's negatives as the signs are different. And then 5x times 3. 5 times 3 is 15. So it means negative 15x. Ne? Okay, then we say plus more 2x minus 3. Don't, guys, another thing, please don't make a mistake of writing it as 2x squared minus 3 squared. This is absolutely wrong. Don't do it like this. Remember, if it's 2x minus 3 like this, if you have a negative sign in between the terms or a plus sign and there's a squared outside of the brackets, what you're just going to simply do, you're going to expand the brackets. How are you going to do it? When you expand the brackets, you just write 2x minus 3 twice. Okay, wait. I think I have to create some space so that I can have, enough space to write everything that I want. Okay, so we had x squared plus 10x squared. Then we said minus 15x, right? Yeah, just wanted to create some space there. Then 2x minus 3 squared, it means I can just write 2x minus 3 and then in the second bracket I write another 2x minus 3 because it's squared. So I multiply it out twice. Ne? I multiplied by itself. So this is the only way you can express it in this case. Don't say 2x squared then minus 3 squared. Don't do it like that. Ne? If it's a negative sign in between the terms, you can't do it like that. It's gonna be wrong. So you just expand the brackets. Write it as 2x minus 3 times 2x minus 3. Then you're gonna have equal to 215. Okay, then okay, the brackets, we're gonna need to multiply them out. So, okay, x squared plus 10x squared, we can start by adding these because they are like terms. So the first x squared, the coefficient is 1. So it means I'm gonna say 1 plus 10, then it's gonna give me 11x squared, right? Okay, then minus 15x. Then now we have to multiply out the two brackets. So we take negative 2x in the first bracket. I mean, so not negative, so it's just 2x. I'm sorry about that. So get 2x times 2x, anger. Then you also take the 2x again, you also have to times it by the negative 3. So you times it by both of the terms that are in the second bracket. So 2x times 2x, first of all, 2 times 2 is 4. Anger. Then x times x is gonna be x squared. Then I say 2x times negative 3. 2x is positive because they didn't write a sign in front, so it's over positive sign. Anger. Positive times negative, it's negative. Then because the signs are different, remember. Then 2 times 3 is 6, so it's gonna be negative 6x. Write an x because 2 has an x there, so it's 2x. So 2x times 3 is gonna be 6x. Then we put the negative sign there. Then we are done timesing the 2x from the first bracket. Then we go to negative 3 from the first bracket. So we take the negative 3, we also times it by both of the terms that are in bracket number 2, just like we did with the 2x. So rotor negative 3 times 2x. Okay, 2x is positive, 3 is negative. Negative times positive is negative. The signs are different. Then 3 times 2x, 3 times 2 is 6. So it's going to be 6x. Then lastly, negative 3 times negative 3. Well, firstly, negative times negative is positive because the signs are the same. Then 3 times 3 is 9. So it's going to be 9. Then I equate 2 to 15. These steps are very easy, you know. It's just that it contains a lot of information, a lot of a very long equation, but the laws that you are using, they're just, the basic laws, the fundamental laws of maths, nothing difficult. Okay, so let's add like terms, and we can also bring everything to one side. So, okay, 11x squared, yeah, okay, let me do it like this, before I continue with this. Okay, we have equal to 15 on the other side, The 15, let me bring it to the left because I want to bring everything to one side. So 15, when it comes to the left, it's over negative 15, then we're going to have equal to 0. So I took it from the right hand side, then I brought it to the side, the other numbers, That's why I write it as negative 15 at the end. Then that's why on the right hand side, we are left with 0 because I now moved the 15 to the left. So I just moved it now, It was equal to 15. So 15 goes to the left, it becomes a negative 15. It now becomes equal to 0 because we removed the 15 and the 15 was the only number that was on the right. So if we take it to the other side, it means that what's left is what? It's 0. Then let's add like terms. 11x squared plus 4x squared. Do you see the x's that I'm adding? I'm not just adding anything that has an x. The x must have the same exponent. So 11x squared, 4x squared, both of the x's have a squared, you see. So that's why I'm able to add them. So 11 plus 4, it will give us 15. So it's going to be 15x squared. Then more negative 5x, negative 6x, negative 6x. Oh, sorry, negative 15 here, not 5, sorry. So negative 6 minus 6. These ones you can just put them on the calculator. You only put the coefficients. You say minus 15 minus 6 minus 6. Then you put all the calculator all at once. Well, first of all, negative 16 minus 6, it will be negative 12, right? So it's going to be negative 12x here when we combine these two. Then negative 12x minus 15x here, right? Minus 15x here. Then this one, okay, negative 15 minus 12, the answer will be negative 27. So it's going to be negative 27x for all the ones that have an x there. Then 9 minus 15. 9 minus 15 is going to be, is it negative 6? Yeah. Negative 6 equals to 0. You can just put it on the calculator just to verify the answer. Yeah, it's negative 6, then equal to 0. Okay, so now we have 15x squared minus 27x minus 6. This is a trinomial, meaning that you can factorize it. But before you can factorize this one, like factorizing in terms of opening brackets, before you can factorize like the entire trinomial, the first thing that you can start by doing is to factorize by taking out a common factor first. Ne? For example, 15, 27, and 6, they have a common number that can enter into all three of them without leaving a remainder. That number is 3. 3 into 15 it goes and it won't leave anything behind, into 27 as well, and even into 6. So 3 is a common factor of all these three numbers that we have there. So I'm gonna write 3, then 3 as a common factor. I write it out as a common factor, then I open brackets. What am I gonna write in the brackets? Okay, for the brackets, I just take 15x squared. This is the first term. I'm gonna take the first term 15x squared, and then I divide it by the common factor that I took out. So I divide it by 3. So 3 into 15, it goes in how many times? It will go in 5 times. Ne? 3, 6, if you count in 3s up until 15, you'll find that it goes 5 times. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. So you're gonna have 5x squared. Then you go to negative 27x, that's the next term. You also divide it by the common factor by 3. So negative 27, if you write negative 27 over 3 on your calculator, first of all, 27 is negative, 3 is positive. So negative divided by positive is negative because the signs are different. Then 27 divided by 3, 3 into 27 will go in 9 times. So that's the answer that you'll get. Negative 27 over 3, it will give you negative 9 on the calculator. So it will be negative 9x. Then lastly, we have our negative 6. Well, obviously 3 into 6, it goes in twice, but since it's negative 6, it means it's going to be negative 2. You see, so you do the same thing. Take negative 6 divided by 3. Negative divided by positive, it's negative like I wrote here. Then 3 into 6 goes in 2 times, so it's negative 2. Simple as that. Okay, then equals to 0. Yeah, this process is very, very long. But remember, the main aim is just for us to actually find what is x here. Then after we find x, we substitute the x into one of the equations that we have. Then we find y. So the 3 in front here, ne? I just want to remove it. So to remove it, I am going to divide by 3 on both sides of the equal sign. This way, 3 will cancel 3 here. Then I'm left with what is in the brackets, which is 5x squared minus 9x, then minus 2. Then equals to, then 0 divided by 3. It will just be 0. The 0 won't change. 0, if you divide it by any number, it won't be affected, right? Then here, the trinomial, now you can't take out a common factor from the trinomial. We already simplified it. So the next step will just be to factorize. So basically, when you factorize a trinomial, remember you have to open 2 sets of brackets like this, ne? Then you equate it to 0. Then for 5x squared, you have to write the factors for 5x squared in both of the brackets, meaning that you can just write 5x in the first bracket, and then in the second bracket you write x. So you separate the factors like this. But the factors, we know that if we say 5x times x, it will just take us back to 5x squared. Ne? So we're just writing the factors, putting them in different brackets, but when we multiply them out, it will just go back to the same 5x squared. You understand? Then after we write the factors for the 5x squared, then we are going to look at the last term. The last term is negative 2, right? So if our last term is negative 2, the negative sign, it just simply shows us that in the brackets we're supposed to have different signs, meaning minus and plus. You understand? So we're going to have plus and minus, 2 different signs in between the brackets. Why are the signs supposed to be different? Because if 2 is negative, the negative sign, we only obtain it if we multiply or divide signs that are different. So when I write different signs in the brackets, I'm actually saying that when I'm going to multiply positive times negative, it will take me back to the negative sign for 2 there. So that's why I have to write different signs. If it was positive 2, then I would have to write the same sign so that when I multiply, it can give me a positive. You understand? As simple as that. Then after we write the signs that are required for the negative 2, then we're going to look for the factors of 2, numbers that go into 2. Well, 2, we know that is a prime number, so it only has 2 factors, which are 1 and 2. So you just substitute the 1 and 2 into the brackets, ne? Well, how are you going to substitute it? Okay, so if you have 1 and 2 like this, ne, you're going to look for the bigger factor. Well, obviously 2 is bigger than 1. So what are you going to do with the bigger factor? The bigger factor must take the sign of the middle term. The middle term, the coefficient of the middle term is negative 9. So since it's negative, the bigger factor will take a negative sign. It should take the sign of the coefficient, yeah, the middle term. So what are 2, it will be next to the negative sign here, then 1 goes with the positive. So 2, the bigger factor, the bigger whatever factors you have, the bigger factor must always take the sign of the coefficient of the middle term. So if it was positive 9, 2 was gonna go with plus and 1 was gonna go with minus. You understand? So yeah, basically it's like that. So this one, you can just check your answer. Let me do this. Okay, so checking your answer is quite simple. You just take the first term in the first bracket and the last term in the second bracket. So you take the first and the last term. First term in bracket number 1, last term in bracket number 2. You multiply them together. This is just to check, ne? This is not part of the factorizing. I'm just checking if our factorizing is correct. You understand? So I say 5x times negative 2. Okay, so this one is gonna be negative 10x, ne? It's gonna give me negative 10x. Then I'm also gonna times the ones in the middle like this, ne? So it's 1 times x, which is just x. You don't write 1x, remember, and get. Then negative 10 plus 1, remember there's a 1 in front of the x. Negative 10 plus 1, if you put it on the calculator, it will give you negative 9. So the answer would be negative 9x, and negative 9x is what? Is actually the middle term. Do you see that our factorizing is correct? This is very simple because when we times the first and the last term, and we also times the two middle terms, and we add them together, they give us what? The middle term, the entire middle term. So if it gives us the middle term like that, it means that we actually put the factors in the correct way. So it's very important to check it like this, ne? Especially if the coefficient of x squared is not 1. If it's 5 or a number greater than 1, then you really have to check it, just to make sure that you didn't switch numbers. Maybe negative 2 was supposed to go with 5x and 1 was supposed to go with x. You just checking those kind of stuff. So here we were just checking. Then I remove everything, so it means that they are fine. So our answer, it means that 5x, right, plus 1 then equals to 0. Okay? Then we write or x minus 2. So we're just taking the expressions inside the brackets and equating them to 0. So 5x plus 1 equals to 0. Then we write or, then we take the second bracket, x minus 2, we also equate it to 0. So this step, it's actually it's a very easy step. We're actually at the end of actually finding what x is at the tip, yeah, if I can put it like that. So I'll say 5x, then 1, I can just take it to the other side, ne? The side here is 0, so it means it will become negative 1. Then negative 1 plus 0, it will just be negative 1, so I just write negative 1 only. Then I say x, then I take negative 2 to the other side as well, it becomes a positive 2, right? Okay, then from here, here we are fine, x is equal to 2. Here is not supposed to be 5x, so we're supposed to remove the 5. So we divide by 5 on both sides. 5 cancels 5. We are left with x is equal to what? To negative 1 over 5. And get, then or the other side is still x is equal to 2. We are fine. Then we found the two values for x. Simple, we are done. Then we are only left with y. So to find y, you just choose the easiest equation. Remember, we have 3 equations. We can just use equation 3. Remember, equation 3, if you were writing your notes, you would have seen, you can go back and check what equation 3, remember, it was. Okay, let me just go back just so that everyone can see it. Our equation 3 here. Remember, this is our equation 3, y equals to 2x minus 3. So I'm going to use equation 3, is the easiest one to use because y is already the subject of the formula and y is what we want now. X, we already found it, you see. So you just use the easiest one. So okay, y equals to 2x minus 3. And get, so we have 2x values that we can substitute. Okay, negative 1 over 5 and 2. And get, here, negative 1 over 5 and 2. Right, so I'm gonna put both of them in. So first of all, I'm gonna write y equals to 2, then I write negative 1 over 5 first, then get in the place of x, and then minus 3. Then I say or y equals to 2, then I put the other x, which is 2, and get, then I say minus 3. Like that. Then I calculate them, so it's gonna be therefore y is equal to what? Okay, 2 times negative, you just put this on the calculator, everything, ne? So on your calculator, you just write 2, then open brackets, negative, then you put a fraction 1 over 5, and get, then close the brackets and say minus 3. Then the answer will be negative 17 over 5. So this is the answer for the first y. Then you say or, then on the other side we have y equals to 2 times 2 here is going to be 4. Then 4 minus 3 is 1. So y is equal to 1. So in other words, if x is equal to, they go in pairs, ne? X is equal to negative 1 over 5 and y will be equal to what? To negative 17 over 5. Then we put an or. So for x and y that go in pairs, you put and. Then when you go to the other x and y, you're gonna write or x is equal to 2 and get and you put it together with its y is equal to 1, the one that we have here. Then basically you are done. This is simultaneous equations put in simple terms. Yeah, then basically that's it, guys, and I hope you really find this helpful. I know that it's going to help you a lot, right, in terms of understanding simultaneous equations in a much more easier way. Then yeah, basically this is it. Then use this to practice more and more, and if you have any questions, remember you can just text me on WhatsApp, ne? Okay, thank you so much, guys. Bye.